like to express my utmost humility and deepest gratitude to the NDC and to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama on behalf of the industrious, hard-working women of Ghana, those who lead, those who birth, those who guide, teach, till the land, feed, nurture this nation, those women who create, innovate, and build this nation, women who step up and just get the work done, period. I'd like, on behalf of the young girls like Habiba, Lamisi, Saha, Ewanam, Patricia, Adjoa, across every nook and cranny of this country, of our dear nation, dreaming new dreams because of this exact moment. On behalf of our dear children, for whom we labor and pray for their protection, their safety, and their growth. On behalf of the resilient citizens who are differently abled and yet show up every day, overcoming daunting barriers to tell us loudly that disability is not inability. On behalf of our aged and infirmed who have broken their backs to build this nation, toiled that their sweat nourishes our dear country, guided us towards the light with their wisdom and counsel, our aged and elderly who today are being robbed of their life savings and being made to live in dignified lives. They are part of our reality. Together with all of them, we say thank you now and in anticipation, Your Excellency, in advance for seeing us, for hearing us, and for promising to amplify our voices, our stories, our images, and for your unalloyed commitment to the Ghana we want to build together, where we all belong, and for inviting us to build this Ghana with you. But be not surprised about the agency with which the next NDC government, under the leadership of His Excellency John Mahama, intends to center the issues of women, youth, and persons with disability and children. Our nation is in deep crisis, occasioned by the dire economic crisis the NPP has plunged us into, one that has pushed over 850,000 Ghanaians into poverty, majority of whom are women, the aged, children, and persons with disability. Our social democratic ethos of non-discrimination, equity, and social justice, creating an inclusive society where everyone can participate fully and equally in our socio-economic and political lives, will not allow the NDC to treat these unprecedented vulnerabilities without agency. The NDC and its antecedent has the history of the most transformative effects on women empowerment and social inclusion. We know how to create mass opportunities for our people. We know how to share the gains of progress equitably for the majority, not a clannish few. Yes, indeed, we know. We know how to unite and not divide our country, especially in times of crisis. Yes, indeed, we know. And we know how to build strong institutions like the Gender and Children and Social Protection Ministry we bequeathed to the NPP. And today that ministry is a pale shadow of its dynamic past. Therefore, in the next 4 years, we commit to significantly expand economic opportunities for our most vulnerable, increasing social and political representation of women and persons living with disability, and socially protect our elderly and our children. Specifically, ladies and gentlemen, we will strengthen the legal framework for the political inclusion of women and underrepresented groups by implementing fully the Affirmative Action Bill. We will mandate a 30% quota for women in all political appointments and pass the Property Rights of Spouses Bill, the Domestic Workers Bill, amongst others. On economic empowerment and inclusion, we will launch the Women in Agricultural Initiative to promote young women's participation in the agricultural sector by expanding access to land in agricultural zones along with financial and business support to feed this nation and to create sustainable jobs. To support victims of gender-based violence, the next NDC administration will launch a zero tolerance for domestic violence and sexual harassment in Ghana campaign and will facilitate the establishment of 16 regional and comprehensive 16 regional shelters and comprehensive support services for victims of gender-based violence. You may clap for that. We will develop a survivors care kit for victims of gender-based violence, including free legal services, medical examination, emergency contraception for women, HIV prophylaxis, mental health care services, and other necessary medication. We will initiate a national school-related gender-based safety program for the protection of all peoples and students. On social protection for our aged, we will introduce the EBAN, which is a fancy word for protection. We will introduce the EBAN elderly welfare system to enable Ghanaians above 60 years to have priority and free access to social and health services, as well as public transport and public spaces. If we have given most of our elderly painful haircuts, we owe it a duty to them to ease their burdens. To support our community of differently abled, the NDC mandates a minimum 5% hiring of persons with disabilities in the public sector. You may clap for that, ladies and gentlemen. And we will enforce the Ghana Accessibility Standards to build on built environment adopted in 2016 to facilitate access to public places for persons with disability. For our headquarters, my dear sisters, popularly called Kayayes, it saddens my heart to no end when we and many others encounter you in our markets with smiles on your face despite the haunting reality of your life. Your father, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, says he sees himself in you and he sees you in him. The only difference is between your two realities is opportunity. In that regard, His Excellency has pledged, therefore, to address the situation of our Kayayes by expanding educational opportunities through scholarships, vocational training in their interest areas, enterprise development, and as well as other social assistance programs for our Kayayes and other vulnerable groups. In conclusion, Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, the next time you hear about gender, inclusion, social protection, don't ask who are stopping them. Rather, be reminded about the words of Nelson Mandela when he said that the true character of a society is revealed in how it treats its children, its elderly, its vulnerable, and of course, its women. Our manifesto is a reflection of our values, and we invite you to join us on this journey towards a more just, equitable, and a compassionate society. Remember, on December 7th, 2024, the elections is about hope, it's about justice, it's about equity. Vote for the NDC, vote for John Dramani Mahama, vote for the NDC parliamentary candidates. Vote because you are a true patriot. It does not matter which political party you belong to. And as I heard recently, vote because doing the right thing can never be wrong.